Hey guys, Roger here, bringing you just a real quick summary and quick reflection of today's Sunday reading, commonly referred to as the road to Emmaus. So, real quick summary of it. It happens on the Sunday of Jesus' resurrection. So, we see two men walking in company with each other to a town called Emmaus. And the town is 7 miles away from Jerusalem. Along the way, Jesus appears in kind of a hidden disguise. They don't recognize it's him, but he goes on and teaches them all about how this was predicted from the beginning, right? So, again, they don't recognize it's him. They come to Emmaus, the stopping point. They invite Jesus in. Jesus is moving on. They invite him in, and he accepts. And when he accepts, when he goes in and breaks bread with the men, they realize it's Jesus. Poof, he vanishes, right? They go back to Jerusalem. They tell the apostles what they've seen, right? And so they rejoin their brethren. Really one quick thing that I want to stop and reflect on is how far away Emmaus was from Jerusalem. So I don't think the number 7 is insignificant in this story. So Emmaus is 7 miles from Jerusalem. 7 being fairly significant to the Jews at that time. 7 was the number of days in a week. It was fullness. It was creation, right? You rested on the seventh day. So I think what we're being called to reflect on is that the 7 mile journey is figurative of the 7 days of the week for us. Is our weekly journey, right? And so many times Jesus comes to us in our weekly journey in hidden disguises, in our wife, spouse, children, enemies, right? Random people we meet on the street, our coworkers. Oftentimes Jesus is there. Jesus is there trying to teach us things in those people. So we just need to stop and reflect on that and see them there. But it's interesting, in the scripture, it says that Jesus is going on past the 7th mile, right? So Jesus is moving forward to the 8th mile, if you would. So Easter Sunday, as it were, is also referred to as the first 8th day, right? Jesus is the new creation. On the 8th day is what Christians have always referred to as Sunday. So what I think we're being called to reflect on there is that we, as the men in the scripture reading do with Jesus, they stop. They stop after the 7th mile, and they rest, and they break bread, and they celebrate, right? And they invite Jesus into their life. So I think we're all being called to do the same. I think we should all stop and rest on Sunday, which is my day of celebration, my day of rest, on the 8th day. That's what we're being called to do, and to recognize Jesus in our week. Stop and reflect and see Jesus in the week. So I'll leave you with some real quick questions. How do you pause after your 7 mile journey in the week? What do you do to stop and reflect? Do you reflect? Do you stop? I think we're supposed to. I think we're called to that. I think that's a divine blueprint for us to be fulfilled. I would invite you to reflect back on your interactions with everyone this week. Look back on your spouse interactions, your interactions with your children, your friends, your coworkers, your neighbors, anyone around you, and think about how you saw Jesus in them. And then I would invite you to look forward. Look forward to this next week and think about who you'll see. Think about who you'll talk to, who you can interact with, and consider how you can be Jesus to them on their 7 mile journey. Thanks, guys.